Freno, welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Taz. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for joining us. You manage the IT services for a large nonprofit organization. That's a nationwide nonprofit organization. If you don't mind, I want to ask you a couple of questions.
Sure, yeah.
All right. So what challenges were you trying to solve when we brought in Vertek, or when we introduced Vertek to you as a partner?
Yeah. So, like you said, I'm a senior director of IT at a large national nonprofit. Like any large organization, IT security is one of the biggest challenges. And being in the hybrid environment, it even takes up more of your time to look at all the security holes that might be in the organization. And one of the things that I was looking for was peace of mind, right? Security is something that just keeps you up at night. And having Vertek as a partner, it really helps me focus on day-to-day stuff and not worry about the security. You know, what happens in the middle of the night at 2 o'clock, I know Vertek will be there to protect the environment and have the eyes on the environment.
And your situation is pretty unique. I mean, you're in a more, I would say, tougher position than most other businesses. Majority of your workers are spread all over the country, is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
So it's a little bit more of a nightmare than a typical business.
Absolutely.
Managing all these different users in every state, I believe?
Pretty much, yeah. We have users from New York to Hawaii. So you
different time zones?
Exactly, different time zones. You know, while Hawaii is working, I'm sleeping. I don't, you know, who's looking at the network if the users end up clicking on a bad link or have a breach through their profile or account, or what have you. It could be any number of events that could occur. And having a dedicated managed security provider to look after the environment really gives me peace of mind.
So that was one of the unique qualifiers for you for Vertek?
Absolutely. Although, again, having a dedicated managed security provider looking at the environment 24/7, 365, I know nothing is getting past. And if it does, we have a proactive approach to the security instead of reacting after the fact the breach happens.
Mind if I ask you, what did you have before you had Vertek?
Absolutely. So we had a bunch of different vendors that we were using for different reasons. Like, we had a Proofpoint and Mimecast for filtering. We had a SentinelOne, Trend Micro for EDR solution. Being on Microsoft environment, we want to leverage our licenses that we have from Microsoft that pretty much provides all the security stack that we needed, instead of going with these whole bunch of these hodgepodge patching of different vendors. So we brought everything back to Microsoft, entire security stack, and having Vertek as our SOC really adds that benefit, and leveraging those licenses that we have, like the Defender license or the Microsoft 365 E3 license that gives us Intune, gives us Defender, gives us all access to policies and the compliance that we need. So having everything under one roof, one umbrella of Microsoft is really a win-win situation.
So, thank you. I know a lot of our viewers right now have this question in their mind, and I'm going to ask it on behalf of you. How confident are you with Microsoft as a security service provider over, let's say, SentinelOne, CrowdStrike, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if somebody could really leverage the technology, it's Microsoft, right? I mean, they have the resources to spend and building up these technology, right? I think when I started at this organization, Microsoft was one of the first cloud-based email service provider, the Xchange product.
Right.
They were still building it out, and it was so brand new that nobody wanted to touch it. But we went with that, knowing that fact that Microsoft is going to put resources in and build up this technology. And since then, I have a full faith. If anybody could, really spend resources in building up technology, it will be Microsoft.
Perfect. I love the way you put it, because Microsoft really has the history and the resources. I mean, they're one of the richest companies in the world. I mean, when you hear companies like Facebook, Meta, now trying to do virtual reality, or Apple trying to build a car, right? Sure, they have the money, they have the know-how, but they do not have the history, right? Microsoft has had 60, 70 years worth of history to draw from.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. What are your some of the favorite things of working with Vertek?
Yeah, we had this relationship, I would say about 6-7 months in. When we started off, the onboarding was great. The engineers are very knowledgeable. And one of the best thing I love is they alert me of any activity, suspicious activity that's happening in the environment, whether it's from low, medium, severe. If it's high, I got a call from a Vertek engineer one of the nights we had an event happening.
Vertek engineer called you?
Yes, yeah. And, I was really taken back. I'm like, that's really going above and beyond, and really reaching out to make sure that, if something is triggering, whether it's false positive or if it's the known event, we know there's somebody, again, watching the environment and is on top of it if I'm not there to look at it, let's say 10 o'clock in the night, So that was really great.
So it really gave you peace of mind.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not saying that for the sake of saying that, but it truly is the fact.
It is. That's one of the things that you can have is that peace of mind. You can sleep sound at night, that knowing that your environment is being watched over.
And I want to elaborate a little bit on that. As you may know, that majority of the threats actually come when you're not looking. Thanksgiving Day, New Year's Eve, Christmas Day, etc. When the bad actors from China, Russia, whatever you want to name, they know our pattern. They know our behavior. We are not, we're drinking wine on or beer on Thanksgiving Day, and we're not going to pick up that call. It's nice to know that there is a security operations center with Vertek that is monitoring your every endpoint, every transmission of data, and they're catching the threat in real time and alerting you.
Yep, absolutely. It's one of the things is that best defense is offense.
Yep.
Being a proactive approach to the security is the way to go. As you know, the bad actors are way ahead all the time, and trying to be ahead of them is a challenge. And I think Vertek really helps fill that gap, and as being our partner in beating out these bad actors. Whether it's breach through email or whether it's a breach through clicking on a bad link, what have you. But again, having that peace of mind that somebody's watching over of all of our environment and all of our user, which are spread across all time zones, it really, really, really helps me sleep sound at night.
Thank you. One last question for you. You've been around the block for a while. You pretty much are familiar with all the vendors out there, their price points. Sounds like the service you're getting from Vertek, it is very tailor-made, it is very personal, and so it must cost a lot of money. That could be the perception. How would you describe Vertek's pricing schedule? How does this compare to what's available in the market?
Yeah, Vertek's pricing is really, before going with Vertek, we had interviewed a bunch of different vendors. We put out the bid, but their Vertek's pricing is really competitive. They beat out all the other vendors by far, the huge margins. Their engineers are smart, and more so, they really align with my thought process of having that Microsoft full security stack, and their thinking is the same way, is deploying that Microsoft security stack and leveraging the Microsoft licenses, right? So they exactly spoke or thought as I was thinking, and they understood me. They understood my challenges, what we're looking at.
Would you recommend Vertek to the marketplace, to other fellow nonprofit or even for-profit businesses of all sizes and all kinds?
Absolutely. I mean, if you want to have a peace of mind, in today's environment is much needed, right? When bad actors are deploying all these AI tools to breach your environment, you need to be ahead of them. And if somebody could provide that, is like a partner like Vertek, having a managed security service provider, really gives you peace of mind.
Freno, thank you very much. We really appreciate you being a Vertek customer and giving such a glaring recommendation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Taz.